golden bean.
Struggling.
Good morning, and this is Peter Sammarco on the air today again. And today been a lot of people asking about the importance of interracial relationships, and I will get that into another topic next week sometime. But at this point, we want to discuss more about labels. Labels can definitely cause people to get depressed. We were discussing this a lot further with a dear friend of mine in Victoria, and it was quite interesting when we discussed the details of how labels has a way of perceiving the way we look at things, and also causes a negative or positive reaction based on the kind of labels we create of others. So labels is how others perceive us, positive or negative, rather than saying something good to make them feel good about themselves and lift them up. We tend to knock them down with a label, so this way we can feel comfortable about ourselves. This is a level of jealousy that putting down is so much easier. So the saying goes like this: only time you want to be looking down at someone is when you're about to pick them up. Now, if you think about that, this is a very important statement. Many times we think that, oh yeah, we should just go and say anything negative about someone and it won't affect them, even if they don't hear us. But the fact is, if you have a dear friend and you know that they're being knocked down, you need to be there to defend them. So, because the labels are so dangerous, even from a distance. Don't expect from a person what you don't expect from yourself. I'm going to repeat that. Don't expect from a person what you don't expect from yourself. You want loyalty, you want trust, you want love, you want friendship. Give what you want, and you'll always receive it right back. So it's so important to think about that for a moment as we continue this discussion about labels. Because labels, negative labels, are ones like, for example, he's driving this nice car, and they'll say, oh, he must be a drug dealer. Or another example for a woman is they'll say, oh, she must have slept with someone to get to that position. Another label, negative label, and so dangerous. Wash all the labels off of your back. Don't let other people bring you down. Remember, labels are phony. And if you even label yourself, it's also phony. So get yourself completely naked, take a shower, wash off all those labels, and remember, the most important is to remember who you really are. And who you are is something from within you. Be content with yourself, because when you create labels, what you're saying is that I need a label in order to feel good about who I am. And when we label others, it's also to say, well, I need to perceive them as what I see in myself. So remember, what you see in others is what you see in yourself. That's a conflicting statement. Not very few people believe in that. But if you can really understand, remember who you really are. Be satisfied with who you are. Then become a better person. Don't try to become a better label. Now that's phony. So figure that out for a moment. So many people think, oh, who I am is what I do. No, who you are first is a child of God. And that might sound religious to you, but that's really, if you look at a nice picture of yourself when you were a child, who were you? Where did you come from? Think about it. It'll make you feel all funny and fuzzy inside. Just take a look at your picture when you were a baby. So make sure you go beyond the labels. Be a better bricklayer and be a better driver. But don't be so concerned with what other people have to say about you. Just wash that all away. Change what you can and accept what you can't. Now, this is basically based on the Serenity Prayer. If you think about it, it's so important. The Serenity Prayer is very simple. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We understand that, and this is being used in AA so often. We need to be thinking about these kind of things. And also, sometimes we focus so much on what we can get from someone or from something rather than focusing on what we can give. Even our prayers are a little bit messed up today. We're thinking, oh well, I've made a mistake, I've sinned. Well, now how am I going to make sure that that doesn't happen again? I think the prayers that we have to focus on is ones that say something like this: God, make us an instrument of what we already are. So make you an instrument of what you already are. So these labels can be so dangerous. And when we go into these labels and we constantly believe them, it gets to a point where at some point we have to see a psychiatrist to figure out who we are, because we have not tuned into ourselves from the beginning, because we've spent so much time fitting into these particular labels that don't exist, and it doesn't even really accentuate who we really are. It's just a phoniness that's even greater than what we think we are. And it's very sad to see that happen. These are just masks for our boss, masks for our girlfriend, masks for our boyfriend. Dare to be who you are. Dare to be the best you can be. You're unique. We have lots to share with others. And if people don't like you for who you are, tough. Let them go. Remember that. So we are all unique when we look and just be ourselves. It's so important just to be ourselves. Labels have expectations. When you put a label on someone, then you expect them to be that way. How come? I'll give you an example. Here's a very common label of people. Well, if my boyfriend does this for me, then he's a good person. He also has to be good to my mother. He also has to do this. And he also has to make so much money. These are all labels. And it's very a negative connotation when people start focusing on those type of labels. Very dangerous. Very depressing. Are you going to pick me up, or are you going to bring me down? So important. Negative labels destroy us as much as positive labels do. Buying into someone else's labels is very dangerous to our personality as well, because if we start believing what other people say of us, that's really not healthy. So you want to think about the word doubt. Actually, doubt is a very positive word if you think about it. We need to doubt when people say negative things about us, and we need to believe it when people say something good. But how does society usually work? When someone says something negative, we tend to what? Believe it. And when someone comes and gives us a compliment, we tend to what? Doubt it. So, of course, sometimes we have reasons to doubt it because we know the intentions aren't pure. But in general, most people will say something to you out of love. And we need to believe it when they say it and be very grateful for that. So we need to focus on a little bit more of that as well. So let's go a little bit further about labeling and how it's fake and fades away. People living according to their labels and are not in touch with themselves. They don't know who they really are. And when you just can be yourself. I mean, I look at my father, for example, and my mother. Man, are they themselves? They'll talk to anyone, and you really feel like you're talking to the person. You're not talking to a person who's trying to be bigger than who they really are. And that's very humbling to see. Also, we need to understand that the dreams we have an indication of who we really are. So maybe at night, start having a piece of paper beside your bed and write down those dreams you have so you can wash away a lot of all those labels. So we'll get right back to you. So thank you for tuning in, and Happy New Year. Have a great one. If you have any questions regarding these labels, by all means do so, and do contact us directly at healyourself.ca, and we'll be sure to get back to you, or 5pillars.ca. So remember that true nobility is not about being better than anybody else. It's about being better than you used to be. And that's from Dr. Wayne Dyer. I think you'd really appreciate that. So remember that it's so important for us to stop this label. This labeling is very dangerous. Don't expect a person to be what you expect them to be if you're not willing to look at who you want to be. And so focus on that. Have a nice day. Enjoy your week. Be good to your mother, your father, your whole friends and family, and enjoy the 2008 as it comes around the corner. Much love to you all. Aloha.